Hello everybody, welcome to Talk About Houses. I'm Todd.
I'm Juana.
Okay, so today we are going to do the August 1st update for the Las Vegas real estate market. As you know, we do these every 2 weeks. We do an update to the housing market, and then we single family homes, then we do condos, because they're essentially separate markets. So please subscribe, hit the notification bell, share the video, like the video, comment on it, and then that way more people watch the videos, and that'll be great.
Right.
Okay. All right. So we're going to start with Market Action Index. This is something we track every month. This is something provided by Altos Research. It is showing right now a 46. That is still a seller's market. However, the needle is definitely swinging back toward what is a normal market, which is at 30. Okay. When it gets to 30, it's a balanced normal market. Right. The trick is are we going to bounce before that? Are we going to go below 30 to a buyer market before like November, December, when the market starts picking up again for the spring?
So give us your take on that in the comments. Let us know if you think that we're going to get to 30 before the end of November.
Just so you know, historically, Las Vegas, for most of the last 10 years, except for the last 2 years, we've been sitting at 40, which is probably Vegas normal for a normal market. Okay, the next thing we're going to look at is median list price. As you can see, median list price is cyclical. It goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down, depending on the time of the year. We didn't get that 2021. It basically didn't go down because 2021 was like the hottest year we've ever had in real estate. So it is going down. The median list price of homes is starting to drop. That 7-day average is the short term. It's just the trend. So all that means is the trend is that they're continuing to drop. This is also something. It'll be interesting to see where this goes before like November, December, when people start coming and buying homes again.
Right.
What's really interesting about that is this next chart, which is we took the median list price and we broke it into 4 segments. The bottom quarter, the second quarter, the third quarter, and then the top quarter, most expensive homes. Okay. So when you look at these lines, blue, the teal, yellow, and red, you can see that the bottom 3 quarters of the market is still, it is starting to turn down a little, but still relatively pretty stable.
Pretty flat.
Pretty flat. The top of the market, though, the top end of the market is just being haircut.
Right. These are the people that are leaving comments for all the videos going, my neighbor had to drop his price for by $100,000. Well, those are the top of the market people. Yeah.
That obviously is the sign of softening prices. So we're going to keep an eye on that. I think we start doing these every 2 weeks in June. This is more than we predicted. This is a bit more.
I think to your point, I think the prices, the price appreciation went up a lot faster than we expected.
Yeah.
And I think it cooled off a lot faster than we expected.
I agree. Okay, inventory. This is the inventory chart. What's interesting here is that we're still below 2020, okay? But we're not anywhere near 2019 yet. And what's interesting is, will we get back to 2019 levels before it starts to, inventory starts to sell off again? I think there's a couple things. What's really weird is that trend line is really high. So inventory's coming in at a higher pace. What we don't know is how much of this inventory are people that we're going to sell anyway in the next year that have just pushed their home sale early to try to catch the market before they believe it's going to fall.
Right.
These are people that were potentially going to sell anyway.
Right. And what that means is that as we have this inventory rise because we're pulling people in to sell their homes now that would have sold their home sometime down the road. Fine, this is giving buyers more opportunity to purchase different homes, and it's putting downward pressure on existing home sales, and we understand that. But then what happens when this inventory is absorbed and now these homes that would have come on the market next year don't? Are we going to have one of these where the prices go down and they spike back up because then that inventory is absorbed and now we're out of inventory?
It's like a whip.
So it's going to be interesting to see if it's going to be this V-shaped thing going on. And I suspect that it will be kind of like that.
Well, we're still under Remember, this inventory is just what's in the MLS. This is not the overall housing stock that's available in the market. And we do have less homes available than really buyer demand long term. So while this is a short-term thing, and home builders have backed off building here in Las Vegas quite a bit. So especially in the higher end, they basically have stopped building new stuff. So it's highly likely that by the time this dust is settled here, we're back to where we were. I mean, it's very possible.
Right. I mean, I really think that by the time we get through the next buying season in the spring, I think that we're going to be at the very least at 2021 levels.
Okay. This is one also that's very interesting. Median days on the market. It's still super low. It's just over 20. It's about where the lowest it was, which was August of last year. It was at 20. So, and you can see briefly dipped into the teens, 18 or 19. So homes are still selling. The higher end homes, not so much, but homes are still moving. People are still buying, right? Because if people stopped buying, the days on the market would shoot up. And I think that's what's really interesting is, now this does lag. So I think we are, in 2 months, we'll get a better idea when we see this number. But Wanda, let's just talk anecdotally. You did take a couple listings in the last 2 weeks, and they're both under contract.
Right.
So homes are selling. Like, it's not like you've got some listings that no one wants to buy.
Right. What's interesting is that I'm not getting as much traffic as I would like.
Okay.
In these homes, but they are selling. So it's kind of a more nerve-wracking market for sellers because they're not getting lots of traffic, but the offers are coming in. Okay.
All right. This is the last slide we're going to talk about, price per square foot. The reason why we broke it out to market segments is because it's more telling. Okay. So the market segments here is just like the other one we showed. The blue line is the top quarter of all homes by dollar value. And then the bottom 3 lines are the 3. And remember, this is per square foot. This is not per like total price. Okay, that's why they're all the same. So the bottom 3/4 of the market is pretty much locked in at that price per square foot, but the top of the market's rapidly coming down to it. Now, yes, luxury homes tend to be much nicer finishes in more premium locations, maybe with views and pools, and they do tend to, even though they're more expensive, they also tend to get more per square foot. You definitely see this in leisure markets in those, when I say leisure markets, a market where the people that are buying like vacation homes and stuff, right? But this is very interesting because when you see the prices going down, it's mostly the top quarter of the market getting hammered, and that bottom of the market's really not being affected that much.
Right, and the thing to consider is that top quarter of the market, when you're looking at the overall housing stock, they actually don't make up that big of a percentage.
Well, it's 25%, it's top quarter.
Well, yes. But what I'm saying is you've got 75% of us, so as far as the population being able to afford this, 75% of us,
just if you can afford,
it's not really affecting
if
us.
you can afford the top quarter, you can afford any house.
Right.
But if you can afford one in the middle, you may not be able to afford anything above that. So yeah, you're right. The number of people exponentially drops off as you get cheaper.
Yes.
And then other interesting thing is some of those buyers have probably just gone to lower end houses. Right.
That's exactly right. So, maybe we're going to live in a GAR-gated community with all these features, and maybe you're now looking at a GAR-gated community without quite as many features.
Or trailer. Or something. Someone's got a shed in the backyard, you're just going to move in. I don't know.
I can't talk to you.
Okay. Anyway, so, this is definitely very, it's fast moving, a lot of inventory, more than we thought. We believe we know what it is. Anecdotally, we have some of you who watch this video who have sold your house recently with us, told us 6 months ago, I'm selling in the fall, I'm selling at the end of the summer. And then around the April-May time frame, a bunch of people called and said, hey, guess what? We decided we think the market may fall, so we're gonna just want to pull it. We don't want to wait. We want to sell the house, or maybe a couple houses, or
Right.
whatever.
And you know what's interesting about those people is that I've still been watching those communities, and those homes are still selling, and they're selling for about the same money. They're just taking longer to sell. So anecdotally speaking, as Todd says, because these homes are not in that top 25%, they're in that next rung down. There's still buyers for those homes. So unless you're in the top 25%, in which case my sympathies to you, everybody else is still doing okay.
Yep. One thing that's very interesting that I find extremely different from when the housing market crashed back in 2006, 7, 8, is the investors are not all flocking to sell. Mm-hmm. These homes are not these are not investors other than the flippers who they flip. Their investors aren't coming to us going, hey, we want to sell our house. And one of the reasons is because the rent they're collecting is the highest they've ever collected.
Well, the other reason is because they either purchase the properties cash or they've got 3% mortgages.
Okay.
And so what I'm hearing...
Let's talk about that. You bought a house for $200,000. Mm-hmm. You got a 3% mortgage. Mm-hmm. You still have a mortgage on it, maybe. You have more equity, of course. The house is now worth $400,000.
Right.
You're getting $2,500 a month rent on it. You would have to do one of two things if you sold the house. You'd have to do a 1031 exchange somewhere else. Mm-hmm. When you did that, you would have to potentially get another loan in the other market.
Right.
And if you did that, it would be a higher interest rate.
Right.
So you can't do that.
Right.
The other thing you could do is just sell it. Mm-hmm. And then you're going to pay capital gains tax.
Well, okay, sell it and then do what with the money? That's the problem, because these people that own rental properties, they are looking for that monthly income.
Right.
So that it's not helping them. Right. Because if they sell the property, then they're killing the goose that's laying the golden eggs.
Okay.
So that's not going to happen. So what I'm saying is that the investors that I'm working with, none of them are selling. They're all hanging on to their properties because they've got these either 3% mortgages or they're free and clear.
Right. If you are an investor or a home seller and you do want to sell your house in Las Vegas,
yay!
Just give us a call. We will get with you and we'll help you sell the house. That's Absolutely. What we do. That's what we do for a living. So subscribe, hit notification bell. In 2 weeks, we're going to do an update to this. So about the middle of August for Las Vegas, and I predict it's around November or something. It'll whatever inventory we have. It's probably a great time to buy. Will be in the fall.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what prices are going to do, but I do know this: you have a lot more choices.
Right.
And actually, did talk to an agent in another market and said, "Hey, I know somebody who's thinking about going to this other market and buying a house." And his exact words were, "Everything is still being purchased for cash right now, but if you wait like 3 or 4 months, you may have choices," mm-hmm. which I thought was interesting.
Right.
That they were already anticipating that.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, look, talk to a real estate professional. If you need one, we'll be more than happy to connect you with either us here in Las Vegas, or we have a network of over 2,000 agents nationwide. A real estate professional can really help you decide when's a good time to sell, when's a good time to buy in your particular market. So at the very least, have a conversation and get some feedback on what you think about that market by having a conversation with a professional in that particular market.
All right. Thank you very much for making it to the end of the video, and we will see you on the next video. Bye.
Bye.